Census Bureau is frequently doing these data sets that are based on a number of different things, and they'll release, a list of all the counties in the United States and this particular characteristic. Okay, so they do that. In addition, they're constantly doing this American Community Survey, and that looks at a whole range of things, from commuting to income, to whether you have an outhouse in your, there's still homes in the United States that don't have indoor plumbing, and that's one of the questions on the American Community Survey. So all sorts of things. And they just did a new drop of the American Community Survey last week. In fact, well, I'm sorry, not last week, 2 days ago. Maybe it was even yesterday. Somebody jumped the embargo, I heard, at any rate. USA Today did a great story a couple of days ago about commuting in the United States going up. I'll show you a screen grab of that. That came off the latest ACS, American Community Survey data drop. It is not something you can really do on deadline unless you've got a lot of experience with this stuff. It's complicated data. In fact, I was really not glad to see that yesterday, the Knight Foundation, they do these challenge grants. They awarded a challenge grant to IRE, Investigative Reporters and Editors, to take this stuff, the ACS, and make it easier for everyday people and journalists to use. But it's not, it's not impossible for us to use it now. It just, you wouldn't want to try and do it on deadline, okay? But the ACS is this wonderful and authoritative set of numbers that is cranked out by the Census Bureau on a pretty regular basis. The Richmond, Virginia newspaper, and many others look at the latest poverty numbers from the American Community Survey and did stories recently on poverty going up or going down or shifting, new faces of poverty. So that's just one small area that you can get out of the American Community Survey.
How close is the dial in? Is the dial in close to the county?
I'm sorry?
How close is the survey's dial in?
That's a really good question. It depends on how much data they've aggregated. The 1 year, if they are using just the survey results from the past year, it has to be a big community. I believe the threshold is only communities that have 65,000 people and above. And then they say, okay, and that's what they released this past Tuesday, I think. And then they'll aggregate 3 years worth of data. So it includes 2009, 10, and 11. So it's kind of older data, but then they have enough responses to give you a smaller area. And for the 3-year data, and this is where I told you it gets complicated. For the 3-year data, that goes down to communities as small as 20,000, okay? But it's still not neighborhood data. For the neighborhood data, they aggregate 5 years. And then the 5-year data goes down to the Census Bureau, or census tract level, okay?
Oh, I see.
So, but the trade-off, of course, is that it's some of the people who answered the census tract data answered it 5 years ago. I know, I'm not saying it's just pixie dust, but I guess, it is what it is. To explain this to readers might be a challenge, but
the neighborhood stuff's like 5 years old.
some of it could be, and some of it could be last year.
Yeah.
So for this one, I believe they used the 5-year data. You can see that here, 2006 to 2011, because the Times Dispatch wanted to take it down to the micro level. Is poverty shifting from this neighborhood to that neighborhood? And so they needed the bigger data set.